We are here. It is Monday. It is Monday, July 7th. And I just realized this morning that I was going to be going live talking about spiritual restriction on this 7-7 portal, which I thought was really divine timing. Really divine timing because the 7-7 portal is all about a soul level transformation and starting to bring you into your power and the blessings that are designed for you. And so the 7-7 portal is all about really opening you up and expanding you into your higher self, your more authentic version of yourself. And this topic came to me a couple of weeks ago. And I kept hearing restriction from spirit. It's like, restriction. What's this about restriction? And so when I sat down to write the blog about restriction, I knew this was bigger than just me writing a blog, putting it out there, and leaving it alone. That this was a conversation that we needed to have. This is a conversation that many of us struggle with. And we're going to talk today. We're going to go through breaking free from spiritual restriction, why your spiritual practice maybe isn't working for you, where your blocks are, why you're frustrated with your practice, whatever it is that you're going through. So we're gonna dive into all of this today. So welcome everyone. I am Melissa L. Watkins, evidential medium, certified spiritual life coach, and that's why we are stepping into this conversation, honestly, today. So thank you for being here. Definitely drop your comments, especially if you have any questions about the topic as we're kind of going through here. Absolutely, please drop your comments. Good morning, everyone. So this is about you and your journey. And so as I'm going through this today, understanding spiritual restriction, what it is, why we're blocked, why we get into these periods of stagnation, and we're definitely going to talk about some ways in which you can help yourself. And we're going to, Spirit really wanted to reveal, we're human, right? We have free will choice. And we get caught up in our own need to control situations, right? Think our way through things, use logic, right? And if you are someone who is intuitive, you're an empath, you're you know that you know, but you don't know how you know, or you feel things, you feel a vibe in the room, right? You're very spiritually connected. It might be a situation where you see things or you have premonition dreams. You understand things most people don't understand, right? Whatever brought you here today, right? Maybe it's just the frustration of feeling like you can't break out of whatever mold you feel like you've gotten yourself into, right? Whatever role you've gotten yourself into, that it served you at the time. Maybe it served you for a long time, but you're not that role anymore. You're not part of that mold anymore. You're more. You're here for more. You know that you're here to have more. Whether that's more love, more relationship, a bigger bank account, ease within your life where things show up when you need them. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from in the world. So that's what we're going to talk about today. You came here to live a full expression of your life, and you have gotten stuck behind the dim veil that clouds the radiant light of your soul. We come in brand new, and we don't remember the fullness of who we are. We don't remember that connection to source or to ourselves on the other side, our higher self. And so it takes us a long time to get into that connection again. And for some of us, we've been connected in a way from a very early age, but we didn't understand it. We didn't know why. We didn't know that we were different until we did, until we realized other people around us didn't feel things we felt, or know things we knew, or had this inner voice that was guiding us, that was helping us along our journey. I have actually a favorite story about that. I was probably 13 or maybe even 12, 11, 12 or 13, somewhere in there. And I'd had a huge fight with my mom. And, you know, at that age you do, right? You're trying to figure it out. And I just went up to my room and I cried and I cried and I cried. And nobody was going to come and check on me. No one was going to make sure I was okay, because it just was a situation where I needed to let it go or get through it, right? And I just remember thinking, I wish my biological father would like step up to the plate, right? I wish he was there. He'd never been in my life. He was actually what my mother calls a poor soul. He was an alcoholic. He had a accident before I was born, actually, that really hurt him. He hurt his hand. His hand was never the same again. They actually wanted to amputate it. It was so mangled, but they cobbled it back together. And after that, he was on disability and he drank. That was his life. Poor soul, my mother called him. Poor soul. And he was. But I, in my youth, you know, I wanted him to be my hero. I wanted him to be my savior. I wanted him to come and save me from this horrible situation that was not horrible in its own way. It had its challenges, but it wasn't horrible. And I just was so angry at him. I was so angry at him. I was so mad at him. Why couldn't he, you know, come and save me? And this voice in my head said, you need to forgive him. You need to forgive him. Not for him, not because he's going to step up to the plate, not because he's going to be better, not because he's going to actually be a part of your life and make you feel like he cares about you, but because you need to let it go. You need to forgive him for yourself so you can move on. That was spirit. That was spirit. That was my guardian angel, my spirit guide. I mean, at this point in my life, I think that was Jesus. He was definitely the teacher that was coming through for me. For a lot, it still does. But definitely through, you know, those periods in my life when I was struggling the most. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how do you tap into that? How do you tap into that knowingness, that the being able to trust and act on those voices or those knowingnesses or those impressions or those signs, right? So why are you here, right? Why are you here? Why are we all here? Why are we on this conversation? Why is this conversation so important? So you're here because you have a persistent feeling of being stuck or unable to move forward in your life. And for a lot of years, I did the blame game. You know, I wasn't moving forward because of, you know, my parents didn't pay for college, right? I wasn't moving forward because I didn't get the promotion. I wasn't moving forward because that engagement didn't end up in a marriage, right? I had to go in a different direction and figure it out, right? I wasn't moving forward because I was a single mom and nothing worked out for me, right? Nobody was loving me. Nobody was putting me first. No one was taking care of me. It was very selfish. It was very selfish energy where I just was looking for someone to come in, swoop in, and save me. And so I was stuck. I was really stuck because at that point I had no idea how to get out of that. That idea that somebody was supposed to come in and save me. Someone was supposed to come in and make it better for me, right? I was supposed to find the partner who was going to make me happy. I was supposed to, you know, find the boss who was going to help me move up. Because at that point I was working. I was working 40 hours a week in a job that sometimes I liked and sometimes I didn't. Then I went into management and I was working 60 hours a week, making like nothing. Because you're on salary and they just use and abuse you. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. You have a loss of enthusiasm or interest in spiritual practices that once brought joy. Yeah, like you do your spiritual practices, but it becomes a like a rote thing, like a muscle memory thing. You just do it because you think you're supposed to, right? You're not really leaning into it. You're not really learning and growing. You're just, this is what they say to do, so this is what I do. But it doesn't bring you joy anymore because it's not helping you. You have a disconnect from your intuition, that inner voice, or a sense of purpose. So many people come to me and they're like, what's my purpose? And to be honest with you, I was there too, guys. What was my purpose, right? We all want to know that. What is our purpose? And so if you have that loss of purpose, if you have that loss of sense of your intuition, or you're not trusting your intuition because you're too weighed down in the anger, in the grief, in the resentment, all the denser energies that are blocking you, right? Maybe it's an unworthiness. Maybe it's a powerlessness. Maybe there's been a lot of abuse. Whatever your story is, it's very individual for each and every one of us. For me, I was so emotionally neglected. I really had that unworthiness imprint that I didn't deserve. That the only thing that made me happy was helping others because it didn't occur to me to help myself. It didn't occur to me to help myself. It didn't occur to me to do the things that made me happy. It didn't occur to me to give to myself because my experience had always been take care of others, do for others. You're safe and stable if everybody else around you is safe and stable. If everybody else around you has what they need, if they're taken care of, then you're okay. But if they're not taken care of, you're not okay. So my self-worth was so tied up with everybody else around me. It was my core family, my brothers and sisters and my parents. And then it became my partner and my child. And that persisted well, into my 30s. I mean, this was a long time. I came to spiritual awakening at an age, I really wish it had happened a couple of decades before it did, but that's okay because divine timing is right timing. And so I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. But at that point, it would have been nice to have some relief, right? Recurring patterns of self-doubt or guilt related to spiritual beliefs. I totally had self-doubt. I didn't trust myself. And my problem was I was having these intuitive intuition. I was having this intuition, right? I was claircognizance. I was clairaudience. I was hearing spirit, right? I heard the forgiveness, right? How to forgive. I heard that. But I also was very empathic. So I was very clairsentient. So I felt a lot of things. But I was also being raised in the Roman Catholic faith. And so religion was teaching me really good stuff on some levels. But on the other level, it was like anything about intuition, hearing spirits, channeling, like that was taboo, right? That was like the devil's work, right? So now I've got this fear in me because I don't want to go to hell, right? I don't want to go to this horrible place. Dante's Inferno comes to mind, right? I don't want to be in that on the other side. And my mother was so convinced that that's what would happen to us. And she was so afraid of that it was her mission to make sure we were going to go to heaven. We were going to be, we were going to be saved. We were going to go to heaven. And so I'm having these experiences, but I'm kind of stuck in this dichotomy, right? So a lot of guilt, and a lot of self-doubt. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. So this self-doubt and this guilt really kind of kept me quiet, shut down that voice of my intuition, shut it down. Didn't talk about what I knew because when I early in life, I tried to, like, I knew things. So I would try to tell people and they would be like, you're a know-it-all. So that shut me down. Right. So then I had this guilt that shut me down. Like God says, this isn't okay. I'm gonna go to hell. So that shut me down. So for so long, I was so shut down as far as really experiencing and leaning into and receiving and acting on and trusting what I was getting. And so for me, when it finally happened, like it was terrifying. It was very, very scary. Very scary. And so I just ignored it. I just ignored it. It was a restriction for sure. Yeah, Darlene, I totally remember that from the church. Oh, yeah. My mother, to be honest with you, she's still in her faith. She's still afraid for us children. She still prays hard every day. She's a little more open to what I do, but she's still on the fence, very trepidatious, real careful. Um, yeah. Last but not least, a sense of emptiness, spiritual numbness, or apathy toward the mysteries of existence. And I think this really makes me feel like a lot of people who say that they are, what's that word when you don't believe in religion or you don't believe in God? I can't remember. Maybe one of you could put it in the comments. What is that? What is it called when you don't believe in God? I was going to say agnostic, but I don't think that's the right word. Um, but you have an apathy or a numbness about spiritual matters because maybe things in your life have proven to you that there's not a higher source, a higher power. You've had it so bad, or maybe you've had one thing really. A lot of people who get angry with God go through this. Atheist, thank you. I knew one of you would help me out there. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Atheist, yeah. I know a lot of people turn that way when they're angry with God. Something really horrible happened in their life where maybe they called upon God and it didn't work out. They feel like he didn't show up, right? Um, and so that can also like keep you from being able to connect to your higher self, to know that you are loved, to know that there is a God, right? And so these restrictions can arise from many sources: cultural conditioning, religious dogma, trauma experiences, or even self imposed limitations. Sometimes the pressure to conform to external authorities or to meet expectations of others can stifle our authentic spiritual expression. I mean, let's face it, society definitely puts the pressure on, right? I mean, just a couple of hundreds of years ago, they were burning witches in Salem, right? you know, I say that I like doing this work at this time because science is really starting to kind of break open what we've been experiencing, since the dawn of time. But more now in this 21st century, we are starting to truly lean into there's more, right? There's more than just the five senses. That if you're living only in the five senses, the five senses that we came in with, you're living a very muted life because you're not experiencing the energy and the connection that is all around us from our crossed over loved ones, from our guardian angels, from our spirit guides, from our higher self, from God, from the angels, and then all the other dimensions, right? So we're talking unicorns, we're talking dragons, we're talking fairies, we're talking elementals, we're talking, mermaids, we're talking all the different beings that are here on planet Earth helping us that our five senses cannot detect. And so those of us who are stepping into this, we're having a more full expression of life because we are experiencing all those levels if we're allowing ourselves to. And so many people get so caught up in diving into, right, how to access the higher dimensions to help live their life more purposefully or live their life more happy or manifest what they want, right? I mean, 20 years ago, I mean, manifestation gurus were everywhere, right? And I got caught up in that. But I was skipping the inner work. Because I thought if I just do these manifestation techniques, I got it all. I'm going to have everything I need. I'm going to have love. I'm going to have money. It's all just going to fall in my lap. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. I avoided the shadow work. I was avoiding the shadow work. I was avoiding the emotional processing and deep reflection that I needed. I didn't realize we were in a vibrational universe that was responding to my vibration. And my vibration was lack. I don't have enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough love. I don't have enough support. I don't have enough. So what was I manifesting? I was manifesting not having enough. And for decades, I was always on the cusp of ruin. And I got there a couple times. Not as hard and as horribly as some people, but I did get there a couple of times. Because I didn't know that I had to process my emotions. And for me, some of the emotions that I had to process, I didn't even know I had. Didn't know I was carrying. I knew I was angry at people in my life, but I didn't know I was carrying a deep-seated resentment imprint that was keeping me from opening my heart and trusting love in any form. Friendship, mentorship, romantic. Nope. I was completely shut down. To the point where I was doing all the things for the people around me where I felt like I was loving them. But I didn't realize that I wasn't loving them through my heart. I was loving them through actions. So the deep emotional connection was the part that was lacking. And I was missing out. And to be honest with you, there are relationships in my life today that I'm still mending. That people that are very important to me and very close to me are starting to recognize that I'm different. That I am emotionally connecting in a way that I never have before. And it's taken them a minute to kind of come around. I had to figure out what my emotional triggers were. And I had to confront the uncomfortable truths. That my pride was in the way much of the time. That I did carry jealousy. So I was also manifesting ways in which to be jealous. That was a huge aha moment for me when I recognized I was jealous. Because I didn't ever thought of myself as a jealous person. But I was coveting what other people had in their life. They had the marriage. They had the white picket fence. They had the vacations. They had partnership. They had community. They had financial stability. I was coveting that. I was jealous. And so we don't know sometimes what we're carrying until we dig deep. And that's hard work. That is hard work. And for some of us, we're spiritual bypassing. We're doing the spiritual practices. We're watching. We're doing the meditations. We're doing the rituals. We're doing the affirmations, right? For me, it was the manifestation videos. I mean, I was caught up in that. Like, I watched them all, right? The Secret, right? Did you watch The Secret, right? I watched The Secret, right? Manifestation rituals. I watched The Secret. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me, right? Are you outsourcing your power? Are you outsourcing your power? relying too heavily on healers, readers, or tools like crystals or tarot that can keep you stuck in dependency. I was waiting for someone to come and fix me. I was waiting for someone to come and fix me. So I'm watching the manifestation videos, right? I'm watching the tarot readers, right? I'm on the YouTube channel. I'm doing all the things, right? Fix me, fix me, fix me, fix me, fix me. I was waiting for somebody else to, I was still on that road of somebody else fix me. I'm here. I'm showing up. I want to be fixed. Fix me. Wasn't doing the inner work. Wasn't doing the self-reflection. Wasn't becoming self-aware, right? Nope. Just fix me. I want what everybody else has. I'm jealous. I've got a lot of pride. I'm not going to tell you where I'm wrong. Fix me. And all too often, like the people that I work with sometimes, they talk about like how many tarot readers they watch. I'm like, holy cow. They haven't really taken accountability for their own stuff, right? The stuff that you're carrying. And again, sometimes you don't even recognize what it is. That's why you've got to do the deep dive. You got to do the inner work, right? Whether, you know, you're working with a counselor, you're working with a coach, you're working with, a book, right? I did a lot of self-healing, started there, did some counseling, right? And then, found spiritual practices. But you got to do the work. Nobody's going to come and fix you. Here's the key. You have everything within you. You truly do, right? Source is within you. Your guardian angel is always with you, within you. You have all the support you need within you. But if you're distracting yourself all the time, if you're waiting for somebody else to tell you what your future is going to bring, you know, a lot of people want to know their future, and I get that. And I can read the energy of where the future may be headed, but I'm not a fortune teller. No one is. But so many people watch all those tarot readers wanting that fortune told. It's number one, it's general. So you have to take what resonates, right? Leave the rest. But so many people get fixated on, if I just keep watching this person, they're going to tell me what to do, where to go, what's coming in, how this is going to work out. We have free will choice. So it's so important to know that you want to use external support, the tarot readers, the counselor, the coach, as a mirror, right? As a mirror, reflecting back to you where you are, because you're your best coach, you're your best counselor, you're your best healer. Healing is innate anyway. Like, I don't heal you. I channel your higher self. I channel the energies from the universe, and they heal you. I work with the angels. They heal you. But they're working with your energy, so it's all coming from you. Oh, I love that, Serena. It just motivated you. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, if you're utilizing it correctly, it's helpful. Sure. Do I watch tarot readers? Sure. But if you're using it as a crutch, that's where you have to be careful. And it's so funny because that came to me very early in my practice when I started doing this work. Like, Spirit brought that to me. Like, don't let people use you as a crutch. Like, if they're coming to you every week wanting a reading, right? They're not doing the work. They're not developing their own intuition, because you have everything you need right inside of you. This goes for going from healer to healer to healer. Like, if you find a healer and they don't resonate with you, it's great. Go find another one. But if you're going from healer to healer to healer to healer, tarot reader, modality, right? You're looking for the quick fix still. You're looking for the quick fix. They trigger you and you move on. That's going to be beneficial a little bit, but ultimately you're not going to really get where you want to go. And you got to be consistent. You got to be accountable. And for so many of us, this is where we are very inconsistent and we don't want to be accountable. Shadow work is hard. I can't sugarcoat it. I can't sugarcoat it. It's going to be hard. Finding out what is holding you back, those imprints that you're holding on to, whether it's threat imprint, right? You never feel safe, right? Abandonment imprint. I mean, let's face it. People leave. But if you've had a lot of people leave very early in your life, that's hurt you, right? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. We hold it right on our shoulders. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda. I would have done that. I could have done that. I should have done that. Shame. Shame. Someone put you in a situation, made you feel bad about yourself. For some of you, they terrified you. For some of you, they hurt you repeatedly. And they did it to you, but you're holding on the shame of it. Because you're feeling like in some way you had a part in it. And that's not true. You were the victim. And for some people, they lean into that victimization. But for some, they just hold on to the shame. And it's impeding you. It's keeping you from being able to live your best life. Speak your truth. Be yourself. Be your authentic version of yourself. And for some of us, we didn't even know what that was. We didn't know what our authentic version was. We didn't know who we were. And maybe for you, you still don't on some level, or you don't at all, wherever you are on that journey. You're just finding yourself. You're just learning who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what kind of music you want to listen to. Find a simple daily routine for yourself. I try to meditate every morning. Just 10, 15 minutes, whether I'm sitting outside, and a lot of you know that I do that because I then have a download and I make a video right after. 10, 15 minutes. We're not talking, I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, well, I can do that for an hour. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't have to do it for an hour. You don't have to do it for an hour. Sometimes I do it for 5 minutes. Sometimes I do it for 3 minutes. Sometimes I do it for 20 minutes. It just depends on where I am energetically. One practice a day. Maybe you listen to affirmations for 10 minutes. Maybe you do yoga or stretch for 10 minutes. Quietly. It's all about getting out of the noise, getting out of the distraction, quieting your mind. It's important to get to the root. That's where we get anxiety, fatigue, toxic patterns. We're not addressing the root. For me, one of the roots was the resentment. That was a root. Didn't realize I was holding on to it. Holy cow, when it came out, it physically hurt. It was during an IET session. It felt like she was taking a dagger out from between two of my ribs. I was like, I almost came off the table. I was like, holy cow. Okay, that hurt. That was something. Emotions that you're not addressing are causing you pain, are keeping you from being able to raise your frequency to have what you want in your life. And we get stuck because we're afraid of being judged. We get stuck because we have unresolved trauma. We get stuck because we have rigid beliefs. We get stuck because we're disconnected from self. And we get stuck because we have lack of community. Worrying about what others will think can keep us from exploring unconventional or deeply personal spiritual paths. Every single one of you, myself included, have a spiritual path. None of us have the same path. None of us are going to do it the same way. Are we going to have similar? Absolutely. It's all the same ways, all the same modalities. It's all the same, but we're all going to do it very differently. We're all going to do it very differently. How we heal is going to look different. How we express ourselves is going to be different. But at the end of the day, we're all getting into connection with Source. We're all getting into connection with that divinity that resides within us. We're embodying our own magnificence. We're stepping into that alignment with our purpose. How we do it's going to look very, very different, but it's getting out of these restrictions that's going to really help you. And for some of you, maybe you only have a couple of those on the list, right? Maybe some of you don't have a fear of judgment, but you really have rigid beliefs. You grew up in an environment where beliefs were inflexible and can make you resistant to new ideas or inner exploration, right? That was me. I mean, my mother, when I tell you she's Roman Catholic, she is Roman Catholic through and through. We did all of the church services on all the different like saint days. We all went to Bible study after school. We were in it. We were in it. All the way up to confirmation. All the sacraments. I can speak the lingo. That's awesome, Serena. That's a practice. Yeah, that's a practice. Affirmation videos. That's a practice. Good girl. Do what works. Do what works. That's for sure. The unresolved trauma. I think if you really sit down with yourself, each and every one of us can find something that we're holding on to that was traumatic, whether it was emotional neglect and abuse, whether it was physical neglect or abuse, whether it was sexual neglect or abuse, whether it was addiction impacting us or our own addiction, whether it was, whatever it is. I mean, I could go through a litany, right? You know what you've been through. You know what you've been through. You don't need me to tell you. You don't need me to tell you. You're just ready to be done with it. You're really feeling like it's time for it to go. Disconnection from self. I think this is the hardest one to identify. Because you live with yourself, right? So it's like, how can I be disconnected from myself? This is where you're not aware. You're not self-aware of your own needs. You're not self-aware of your own desires. You're not self-aware of what you want. You're so distracted doing and being for everybody else. And you're also self-sabotaging. So even when maybe you do kind of step into something that you would want, or you do try to get a need met, you sabotage it because that feels uncomfortable. Who am I to have that great thing happen to me? Who am I to be able to do that for myself? That's not right, right? I can't do that for myself. I can't have that really great thing for myself. I can't spend that kind of money on myself. I can't have those nice things. So you shove it away, or you make it so that it can't happen. You're self-sabotaging in a very unconscious way, right? You really wanted to go to that yoga class, but you scheduled a doctor's appointment during that time. Unconsciously, right? Oh, I can't go to that yoga class today. I did this, I got to go to the doctor's appointment. It's little things like that where you don't make yourself a priority, where you don't say, no, I can reschedule that doctor's appointment. I'm going to that yoga class. I know I need it. And that's like such a superficial example, right? Like there's some, think about it. Think about that for a second. Where have you really wanted to do something and you put something else in its way, or you let somebody else put something in its way? Because that's Really, really, really important. You're disconnected from yourself. You've lost sight of your needs, your intuition, and your desires. And that's not okay. And that took me so long to recognize that that wasn't okay. Decades. It probably has only been in the last decade that I've really put my needs first. And that's one of those changes that the people around me realized that I was not the same, because I was starting to say no a lot. I was starting to like, I got something else going on. They were like, what? It's important. It's important to put yourself first. It's important to know that your needs are important. You have to fill up your cup before you can really fill up anybody else's cup. So important. And that took a long time. And it can take a long time, because when you're someone who has really been in unsafe situations, and the only way you could be safe was to make sure everybody else was okay, that can be terrifying, to start pulling yourself out of those situations and saying no. No is a complete sentence. Not no, I'll do that later, or no, I can't do that right now. No, I'm not doing it. For some people, it takes you to your knees, and that's a very physical reaction from a very emotional place. And this is where we have to understand that our emotions impact our lives in such a way that we are not taught. Which is why my manifestation, all that manifestation video watching that I didn't work, because I was not in touch with my emotional body. Nope. That's not important. My emotions aren't important. I was taught at a very early age, you don't matter. Your emotions don't matter. I don't care. Do this. Take care of that. Be here. Look this way. Act this way. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'm not going to address your emotional needs. Dry your tears. Get up. Let's go. Yes, everyone's level of timing on spiritual exercises is different. You are going to be brought to what you need when you need it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, self-sabotage. It's a hard one. Lack of community, the absence of supportive spiritual companions, can leave us feeling isolated on our journey. This is so important. You know, when I started my journey, I was isolated, and then I called in. I just said to Spirit, please bring me who I need. And, one came, another came, and then it just went from there. But it was like one person that really began it for me. And then, that person evolved into this relationship and that friendship and this and that. And, and now here we are, like a decade later, here we are, from that one person who I will be forever grateful for. And she is on her journey. So yes, finding community. So if you're watching this and you need a community, please head over to my Facebook group, Guidance 311, totally free. We have a community. We are there. So how do you overcome spiritual restrictions? How do you overcome it? Because we want to overcome it. We want to live our best life. We want to have what we want. We want to be happy. We want to be financially secure. We want all the good things, right? We came here to be happy, guys. We came here to be happy. If you're not happy, we gotta get you there, right? So meditation. Look, I don't want to hear it. Meditation doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be scary. It's, for me, when I heard meditation, I thought monks in a cave for 5 hours. I can't do that. It's not what meditation is. Real meditation, real world application meditation, is quieting your mind in any way that you can. And so for some people, it's crocheting. For some people, it's taking a drive. For some people, it's sitting in the backyard, just listening to the birds. For some people, it's putting on headphones and listening to a guided meditation. For some people, it's sitting on your couch and listening to the clock tick for 5 or 10 minutes. It's quieting your mind. It's turning off your phone. It's helping your thoughts. They're never going to stop unless you really get into an enlightened situation, which I don't think I will. But they get quiet. You start finding the space between the thoughts, and that's the important part. So if you can do that, every day, start 1 or 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and then build up. 4 or 5 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. For me, I just do it for as long as I can. And some days I open my eyes and I look up and I'm like, ooh, all right, 2 minutes. Well, it was what it was. Sometimes I feel like I've been in meditation for an hour and I look up and it's 10 minutes. Sometimes I think I've been in meditation for 10 minutes and I get up and it's an hour. So time is not linear. Don't worry about the time. Just if you can get into the practice of finding time every day where you can sit quietly in some way, right? In some way. It's really important. It's really important. Because what that allows you to do is to connect to spirit, whether you're conscious of it or not. Your higher self is downloading to you what you need. So you're going to get inspired to go in this direction today, or take that route to work today, or meet that person for lunch today, or sit at your desk and eat lunch today. Or basically what they're doing is they're downloading the map that is going to take you through your day the easiest, through your relationships the strongest. They have the playbook. Your higher self can see all the different options and which one is going to lead you to the easiest, most beneficial outcome. That's why meditation is so important. Because it's time for you to be in alignment. It's time for you to get the shortcut, the easy pass. It's time. It's time. The other thing that will help you do this is breath work. Conscious breathing techniques can release tension and create space for new insights. Connection to source, there it is. So in many of my meditations, if you go to YouTube to my healing and classes playlist, there's some meditations there. And one of them is box breathing. Box breathing is a technique that was actually brought about through Navy SEALs needing to be able to control their anxiety in high stress situations. So box breathing for those of you who really struggle with anxiety. So you can look that up on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to go through it here, but breathing practice is very, very important. Because the thing is, when you are intentionally breathing, taking deep breaths, right, or doing deep breath cycling, what that's doing is it's biologically creating that connection to source. So we are biologically predisposed to be in connection with source. So what's happening is the fluid in your spine, when you're drawing your breath up, is actually bringing the fluid up and charging your pineal gland. And then when you release it, it lets the fluid go down. And what that does is your pineal gland is then charged up and your antenna to source is wide open. Isn't that cool? And this is how we receive our intuition. This is how we receive our downloads. This is how we receive source. Awesome, Cynthia. Awesome. So breath work, I don't do it enough. I should do it more. But whenever I'm getting into meditation and I really feel like I don't feel spirit and that kind of unnerves me, I start doing my breathing to open up my pineal gland, to activate those crystals in your pineal gland that charge up and get into connection with source, to your higher self, to the angels, to the higher dimensions, however you want to think of it, taking you straight to Helios, to the central sun. So we're all connected. We're all connected. It's just putting these practices in place to take our dense human body and get into connection with our higher self, with source, right? We have to lighten our dense body. And so the way to do that is through breath work, through meditation, and healing, which is so important, right? Healing our inner self, our inner child, doing the shadow work. It all makes a difference. And every little piece that you do makes a difference. So if you're someone that's like, I've been on a healing journey forever, I don't feel like I've healed that much, you've healed. Whatever you've healed has been important. And if you're here, what you're going to continue to heal is going to be that much more important. Create. For me, it's journaling, putting words together, writing, getting it out of me. For some of you, maybe it's painting, crocheting, needlework, rock art, just whatever you're drawn to, create. Because that is a whole nother side of your brain that gets you out of the logical and gets you into connection to source. Sometimes I just doodle. Sometimes I create pictures. And I can't draw to save my life, so I actually do the stickers. If you know what I'm talking about. Create whatever that means. I think that's why so many of us have tattoos, because it's body art. It's another way of creating. So yeah, I'm I'm not encouraging anyone to get a tattoo. I'm just saying that I have them, and I know that a lot of you also have them. Oh, nature connection. Yes, nature connection. Nature, nature, nature. Get out in nature. Backyard, trail, hiking, water, pool, sand, grass, forest, park. Doesn't matter. Just get your feet onto Mother Gaia. Get out and feel the wind. Feel the sun. Feel the cold. Feel the rain. Whatever the weather, whatever the season, regularly get outside. Time in nature reminds us of our place in the larger web of life and can be a profound source of healing. Get outside, touch a tree, hug a tree, become a tree hugger. Watch the birds, listen to the birds, watch the squirrels, watch the fish, whatever. Mother Gaia loves you. Mother Gaia will transmute the dense energy that you're holding on to. Ask her. Ask her to take your pain. Ask her to take your hurt. Ask her to take your fear in whatever form it's manifesting in. Anxiety. Blockage. She will. She will transmute it. Back into love. Back into courage. Back into the ability to move forward. Spiritual community. Sharing your journey with others can provide encouragement, accountability, and a sense of belonging. Find your community. If you need one, I'm here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go over to Guidance 311 on Facebook and be a member of the group. Go to my website. Become a part of my mailing list. Comment on my videos. Become part of the community. I tell people all the time, definitely like or comment on my wherever you're finding me, because it adds your energy to the group. And what that does is it informs the information that Spirit brings me. You're informing the information that I'm sharing all the time through your energy, through the field. And rituals. Personal or shared rituals mark important transitions and call forth intention, gratitude, and reverence in daily life. Intention, intention, intention. If you're doing everything through intention, you're working with Spirit. If you are staying in gratitude, you are raising your frequency. That's how you manifest. That's how you lighten your body, your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body, your energetic body. Gratitude takes you right up that emotional chart, right up towards love and compassion. And when you're living in love, universal source love, you are living in alignment with your purpose, with your resources, with your opportunities, with your partners, with everything. But you have to do the work. You have to do the work to get there. The first steps toward freedom. How do we get there? How do we get to free? How do we get free? How do we get free? We cultivate mindfulness, being present. Eckhart Tolle talks about presence. That's his platform. If you've not heard of or read Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, Living Your Life's Purpose was the book that did it for me. It transformed my life because I got present. I wasn't always projecting into the future, and I wasn't always stuck in the past. I finally recognized that if I'm present in the moment, I can't do anything about the past. I got to leave that where it is. I can kind of plan for the future, but I can't really impact it yet because it's not here. What I can do, though, is right now in this moment. I don't have money to pay the bill that I have, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep telling Spirit that I need help, but I'm going to do the things and take the steps that I can take right now. And maybe that's taking a shower. Maybe that's doing my dishes. Maybe that's sitting in my backyard and meditating, right? Those are the things, those are the action steps I can take right now and be present. Because if I'm in the present moment, I'm not worrying. I'm not letting the fear take over. I'm focused on what I'm doing right now. I have intention for what I'm doing right now. If I don't have anything to do, then I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to get something to eat. I'm going to make myself something to eat. Something good to eat. That's going to nourish my body. I'm going to rest. Maybe I didn't sleep last night because I was unconsciously, the fear about my situation was keeping me up. So now I need to take a nap. Maybe it's just 20 minutes. Or maybe I just need to go out and I need to meditate. I'm just going to take my blanket out in the backyard. I'm going to sit down on the earth in the shade. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to listen to the birds. I'm going to listen to the squirrels. I'm going to listen to the cars. I'm going to listen to the water. I'm present in the moment. Because if you're present, those crazy fear-based thoughts can't run away because you're focused on whatever you're doing. Right? You're being very, very mindful. So being present in the moment can also help you to understand what are you feeling right now. Because for many of us, we have shut down our emotional body. We've stuffed all those emotions in there and we just kind of ignore them. But if I'm present and I'm doing something and I'm thinking about what I'm doing and then all of a sudden I feel the feeling I'm having, well, now I can feel it. Now I can let it come up. And I can either decide that I'm going to lean into it because it's a good feeling, or that's a feeling that's old and I don't need that feeling anymore and now I can release it. And for me, I just ask the angels to take it. Please take this from me, especially if it's really, really heavy. And maybe I've been working on it for a while. Maybe I have done an IET session with that as my intention. Maybe I have had Reiki. Maybe I have, had sat in meditation with it and asked them to take it. But it's still coming up because it's a process, right? None of this is one and done. We're like an onion and we're peeling back the onion. And so sometimes we have to ask the angels, please take this from me. It's too heavy. I can't release this on my own. Call in Archangel Raphael. Oh, you're welcome, Darlene. Journaling. If you're not a writer, that's okay. No one's going to read your journal. So, and that's the other thing about journaling. Like, be honest. No one's going to read it. I actually was in a coaching session a couple weeks ago, and she's like, I don't journal because I know that it's going to get read. And I'm like, go find yourself or buy yourself a lockbox. Like, lock that up. You should have a safe place in your home where you can put your most private thoughts and have them be safe and safeguarded. So if you have to do that, go buy yourself a lockbox. Or maybe put a lock on your bedroom door. I had a lock on my bedroom door as a teenager because I had brothers and sisters that were not respectful. Actually, they like to torture me on a regular basis. And I've actually found things out that are kind of gross. So if you have to, get yourself a lockbox. Try dedicating a few minutes each day to journaling. Explore your dreams, desires, and struggles. Over time, recurring themes may emerge, which was really crazy because what I did was in high school, I was probably 18. I was going to be moving out, and I don't know, something compelled me to just go back through a couple of my journals and really kind of skim through them. And I was like, holy shit, I've been writing about the same thing for 10 flipping years. And that really kind of helped me realize, okay, this thing that I keep writing about over in different ways, but over and over and over again, is the thing that I really need to work on. Like, I really need to get this shit taken care of, which actually got me into counseling. So sometimes we don't know what we're going to discover. We don't know what we're holding on to. It's very unconscious. Very important. Embrace your emotions, and that's what it's all about. The only way to really move yourself out of stuck self-sabotage mode is to embrace your emotions. We are so good at suppressing them. Damn, we got that shit down, right? We can suppress them like nobody's business. They are messengers from your soul, and listening to them can unlock important insights. So again, use your journal. Oh, for those of you that don't like to write, I was going to say vlog. Literally turn your camera on and just start talking. And keep like a folder of all your self videos, your vlogs that are for you. But you don't, believe it or not, writing it or talking it out really does also release the energy of it. And so that's why it's so important to do that physical part of the releasing the emotion, the writing it out, the talking it out. Really, really important. So whether you're doing that alone or with someone else, that's fine. But very important to embrace those emotions that are the windows to your soul and get those insights, and then practice self-compassion. Love yourself through it, especially for those of you who've really been victimized by other people from a very early age. You got to love yourself. They're not going to love you. They're not going to apologize for the most part. They may not even address the situation, which will probably be, for some of you, it'll be a good thing. But you gotta practice self-compassion, because it's actually, self-compassion is source compassion. When you love yourself, source is loving you. You are source. You are that spark of divinity. So source loves you. You love you. And it's time to express that to yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. Affirmations of worthiness, even times of difficulty. Even in times of difficulty. Very important. That's when it's most important, right? Remember that spiritual growth is a journey, not a destination. And this was an aha moment for me years ago because I really felt like I could do it because I'm a doer. I'm a doer. I'm a worker. I'm a Capricorn. I'm going to get it done. It was very disconcerting when I realized this was not something I was ever going to finish. I was never going to complete. I'm going to complete aspects. I'm going to complete different roads. I'm going to complete different cycles. But there's no finish line. There's no sticker at the end saying you're done. We're here to evolve. We're here to evolve, and we're going to keep evolving. Cynthia asked a really interesting question. Will writing and talking together intensify the effect? Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, if it helps you, then go for it. But it's not needed. Um, what I'm actually receiving from Spirit is it's more about um, the amount. So keep writing about something, keep talking about something until you really feel like I'm over it. I'm good. It's gone. Hey, Lori. Okay. So, reclaiming your spiritual gifts. Identify your gifts. Identify your gifts. Reflect on moments when you felt most alive, inspired, or at peace. I'm a good friend. I'm a good listener. I'm a good baker. I think I'm a good teacher. I'm a good friend. I don't know if I said that. I think I'm a good writer. It's hard when you're someone that was told to not speak up, to really embody your gifts. That can be hard. Qualities and talents that are meant to be shared with the world. These may include intuition, empathy, creativity, healing abilities, or a deep sense of connection to the natural world. Yet, societal pressure or self-doubt can cause us to hide or diminish these gifts. Empathy, creativity, self-healing abilities, and a deep sense of connection to the natural world. Consider asking trusted friends or mentors for their perspective. They may see strengths in you that you overlook. And again, if you're still doing healing work on those things, then of course you're going to overlook them because you still don't see yourself as capable. You don't see yourself as courageous. You don't see yourself as able. You don't see yourself as special in many ways. So yeah, I would say that's a really good one to, again, trusted friend, someone you're discerning. They have no agenda in the conversation. They just love you. Really important. And then create the space for exploration. Exploration. Allow yourself to experiment with different spiritual practices, meditation, movement, art, music, or time in nature. Notice what resonates most deeply and pursue those paths with curiosity and openness. Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I think I resonate with all of those: meditation, movement, art, music, and time in nature. I love to walk. I've always been a walker. I did try yoga during COVID. I really did enjoy that. Probably should do that more. Art, really not my thing. I mean, I do have this like art project thing, but I literally haven't opened it in over a year. So for me, it's really meditation, movement, music, and time in nature is a big one for me. So really looking at what are your gifts, and then create the space for exploration. And that's the other thing, create the space. Like for many of us, we're like being and doing for others so much that taking time for ourselves, again, that feels wrong, right? That feels hard. That feels difficult. What do you mean I'm going to say no, I'm not going to go do this thing for this person so I can go sit in the backyard? Sometimes maybe you just find that time that does work for you. Like for me, it's the morning time. I usually do it right around either before, during, or right after coffee, right? So sometimes I take my coffee out with me. Depending on the weather, depending on kind of how I feel. Sometimes I just do it in the living room. But that's my time. And I try to do that like before I get going for the day so it doesn't hinder the other things that I'm doing, right? So it's important just to create the space. Very, very important. This is huge. Release the need for perfection. Your spiritual gifts do not have to be extraordinary to be valuable. Release the belief that you must be flawless before sharing your gifts. Holy cow. Yeah. When Spirit had me starting, I don't know if some of you may remember this. 2017, sitting in my very inexpensive trailer that needed a whole lot of work. I had just gotten my first place. I'd been homeless, basically, in a couple of years prior. So this was like, I finally felt like I was safe. I owned the space. I could afford the rent for the lot. I was in a trailer park. It was good. I was good. Spirit asked me to start sharing my gifts. I had just started exploring my gifts, and now all of a sudden you want me to share them? What I didn't realize is I'd been tapping into Spirit for what? 30 odd years? I was in my 40s. So, like, for 30 odd years, I'd really been in touch with Spirit. I just had never really shared it. And now they were asking me to share it, and I was like, what? Doing a daily card on my Facebook page. I can't even tell you how much effort it took me to hit one button to go live. Like I was all set up. It was all ready to go. I just had to hit the button to go live. If you could have seen the crazy lady pacing in her trailer. Yep. Didn't know what I was doing really. Flying by the seat of my pants. But here we are. Spirit just needs you to start wherever you are. Trust Spirit. Trust Spirit. They've got your back. And they had my back. Because for the first year, nobody was really watching the live. They were catching the replays. And then it started to become a thing where people were catching the lives. But I was like, why was I afraid? Nobody was there. It was just really me talking to myself. They're going to make it okay. As long as you have the right intention, as long as you're coming from a place of love, it'll be okay. Release the need for perfection. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to be sloppy messes, taking it one step at a time. And you are exactly where you need to be on your journey. Exactly where you need to be. May not feel good, may not feel where you want to be, and that's okay, because where you are is going to take you to where you want to be, one step at a time. What I've also learned on this journey is there's no skipping steps. You might traverse a step more easily than some others because you're finally trusting and acting on what Spirit is bringing you, but you still have to go through the step. Messy. Messy, messy, messy. Integrate your gifts into everyday life. Look for opportunities to express your spiritual gifts throughout your daily routine. These might mean offering a compassionate ear to a colleague, creating beauty in your surroundings, or simply honoring your intuition in making decisions. Spirit is with you every single day, every single moment of every single day. Ask. Believe and receive. That's how it works. Honor your gifts, honor your intuition, honor your talents, honor yourself. You are the steward of your soul. The key to spiritual freedom lies in your hands, waiting for you to turn, to open the door, and to step into the luminous possibility of your own becoming. And so, with that being said, for those of you who have been here, thank you. For those of you who are watching the replay, thank you. But at the end of the day, if you need help, that's what I'm doing. As a certified spiritual life coach, the Empower Me Now is where we're going to help you reclaim yourself, where we're going to help you become the full expression of who you came here to be. Help heal the emotional wounds and release the shame. Reclaim your voice and worth. Reconnect with your divine feminine power. Envision a soul-aligned future with clarity and courage. When you have a soul-aligned future, when you're working with your higher self, when you're in connection with your spirit guides, and you're trusting and acting on what they're bringing you, your life takes off. And that's why I'm now doing the spiritual life coaching, because I want everybody to be sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in. I want them to have the grace and the ease. I want them to have the trust and the faith. I want them to have the connection. I want you to have your most desirable outcome for whatever your situation is. But we've got to get rid of the imprints that are holding you back. I want you to have the rituals and the tools and the identity that are rooted in sovereignty. That you're so powerful, the negative forces can't get near you. Those old types can't enter your life because they can't even feel, see, experience you, because you're such a you're not even close to them energetically. It's like you're invisible to them, because energetically there's no resonance. So those narcissistic individuals, those selfish people, those abusive people or situations, they can't touch you. You're not that version of yourself anymore. You're living in love. You're living in compassion. Feel safe in your body again. Transmute pain into power. Reclaim your voice. Reconnect to your soul's wisdom. Anchor a new identity. Live from purpose. That's what spiritual life coaching can help you do. You're reclaiming your sacredness. That sacred soul who came in as an infant into this life. It is now time to reclaim that sacred soul and to remember who you came here to be, the mission you signed up for, the life you planned. It's not too late. It's never too late. I turned 55 this year. It's not too late. Do I wish all of this had happened for me 2 or 3 decades ago? Yeah. But I had to be and go through those things to be sitting in this seat right now. So I've had to honor what I've been through. And now I can. But until you get to the other side, until you know that there's more, until you can live your soul's purpose, until you can embody that remembrance of who you came here to be, it's hard. And that's where I can help. Spirit can help through me. Because again, I'm the channel. I'm just the channel. So you'll be working with your higher self. You'll be working with your spirit guides through me. Learning how to connect with them yourself. Learning how to let go and release what no longer serves you. So if that's something you're interested in, head over to my website, melissallwatkins.com, hit the services tab. You can read all about the spiritual life coaching. And then if you go to Healing Me Now, the packages are all there. You can do individual sessions, sign up as a subscription monthly, or you can do the Empower Me Now package, which is 9 sessions in 6 months to rapidly accelerate where you are to where you want to be. So that's what we got, guys. That's what we got. And for those of you who maybe just want to dig into the healing portion, there's also packages for the Empower Energy sessions using integrated energy therapy, working with the 9 archangels, setting the intention of what you want them to transmute and release. For those of you who do have stuck patterning, abusive traumatic situations, the empath narc connection, imprint, generational patterning of abuse and neglect, addiction. So it's all on my website. I would encourage you to go where you're resonating, what you're being called to. Sessions are virtual or in person. They're going to be just as impactful, just as profound for your healing, for your growth, for your evolution. Trauma lives in the energy body, not just the mind. Releasing it restores intuition, your voice, and your divine feminine power. Heals invisible wounds therapy may not reach. Builds sacred boundaries and energetic sovereignty. Offers a soul-led path forward, not just a way out. It's about connecting you to your divinity, your connection to Source. We are all a part of Source. We are all a spark of that divinity that is Source. And it's time to be able to embrace it, to connect with it, and to let it be your way of being. Making your choices and decisions through that spark of divinity. Through your connection to your higher self. I actually put Jesus up here because when I was starting to embody my connection, one of the first meditations I did, being guided by my mentor at the time, Jesus came through that meditation and I almost fell off my chair because I was still stuck with this idea that Jesus was tied to the religion, that he wasn't a sovereign being, an ascended master that was available to everyone. And so it's been a journey. And it is a journey that I love watching all of you go through. Those of you that are stepping into your journey. And for those of you that I get to be a part of that in whatever way that looks like, I honor that and I thank you. It is very, very humbling to me that you are part of my community and that you are here doing this work together with me and with Spirit. And with that, I would like to close with a meditation. So if you would like to enjoy this, I'm going to bring through some help. If you're listening to this while you're driving, please do not do the meditation now. Make sure that you're in a safe place. But yeah, let's do this meditation. Deep breath in, release. You're going to want to put your feet on the floor. If you're lying down, that's fine too. I'm going to make sure your spine is nice and straight. You take a nice deep breath in, all the way down to the bottom of your belly. Hold. 1, 2, 3, and release. All the way out. And again, in. All the way up. 1, 2, 3, release. All the way out. And now all the way in. 1, 2, 3, and release. Now I'd like you to vision or imagine a beautiful white crystalline light coming down out of heaven, out of source, down through the top of your head, down through your throat, down through your heart, down through your root, down through your legs, and all the way down through your earth star chakra, all the way down through into Mother Gaia. Feel that beautiful white light coming down. Feel it anchoring you into Mother Gaia. And know that your spirit guides are here with you, surrounding you, behind you, in front of you, to the side. Know that you are so dearly loved. Know that you are never alone. I know Archangel Michael is coming in with his sword of truth. And he's going to wave that sword through your energetic field, cutting any cords that no longer serve you. Cutting cords to emotional pain, old situations that weigh on you, people who do not have your best interest at heart. Also cords to any blockages. For those of you carrying a blockage to courage, a blockage to love, a blockage to worthiness. Releasing any cords that are keeping you tied to lack, to victimization, to grief, to anger, to resentment, to powerlessness, to abandonment, to threat. Archangel Michael is releasing you from any bondage that is keeping you stuck in any thought pattern, any belief system, any way in which you are not expressing yourself authentically. helping you to find your voice. And now Archangel Ariel is coming in with the pink ray, the beautiful pink ray coming down and filling up your auric field, helping you to step into the energy of universal source love. And feel the pink energy flowing into your heart, opening your heart, expanding your heart. Feel your heart chakra grow bigger. Feel it pulsate with this beautiful influx of divine source love energy riding on the pink ray. Deep breath in and release. We thank the angels for being here with us. And when you're ready, you're going to open your eyes and come back. Thank you so much for being here. If you want any more information about spiritual life coaching or any of my services, please head over to my website, melissalwatkins.com. Thank you so much.